Oi, punters, do you want to know who I think really won the election? Oi, Punt, are you subbed to the YouTube channel? Yeah, obviously this YouTube channel, but also the Punters Politics podcast YouTube channel. Yeah, you can head over there, hit a sub to that. I think it has like 1 sub. Anyway, back to it. So punters, the election is over. If you didn't hear, Albo turned out a massive win, the biggest since the 1940s. That's huge. And the coalition had their worst result since World War II. But who are the real winners, I hear you asking? Well, I made an Instagram reel about it. If you've seen it, skip it. Let's take a watch.
Oi, who won?
Oh, the party we give a lot of political donations to.
Yeah, doesn't narrow it down much.
You know, the one whose resource ministers come lobby for us once they finish rigging the rules for us.
Yeah, but more specifically...
Especially the one who won't make us pay for the resources we currently get for free.
Mate...
The party who won't make us pay tax.
Still could be anyone.
The one who just approved our massive gas project. You know, the one where we get Aussie gas for free, export it overseas, make billions, and I guess continue to drive up Aussie punters' energy costs.
Oh, Albo won.
Yeah, who'd you think I meant?
It's not my first choice, but as long as there's no changes to the billions we scam from Aussie punters each year, it's all good.
Yeah, mate, like I always say, why bet on one horse
when you can just buy both?
So punts, that's who I think is the real winner out of this. When the establishment stays the same, the establishment that have bought both parties, that have lobbyists come to work for them from both parties, they are the real winners of this status quo establishment politics that we're sort of seeing. Spoiler alert, I think it's changing. We'll get to that in a second. Now, to the punters yelling and typing in the YouTube comments, they are not both the same. No, I know that. I know both parties aren't the same. That's why, didn't you notice? In the Instagram reel, I had this free bottle that the Liberal Party gave me when they were just handing out free bottles. This will make someone vote for the Liberal Party? I bet it does. There is no doubt that this is the party that the fossil fuel cartels wanted, that the gas cartels wanted to win. No doubt whatsoever. But there's also no doubt that Labor pose a weak threat to their power. 1, because they take money. 2, because they get lobbyists that work in there. 3, because they leave office to go work for these corporations. To the issue that I'm talking about revolving doors in politics, politicians going to lobby for these cartels, and then advisors going to work in government to write laws and rig the rules. On that, things will remain largely the same and unchanged. And it sounds depressing, I know, but that is just the brutal reality of it. And so to address the punters in the comments is Punter Ronald, who says, I love you, bro. Cheers, punt. But you really need to check out Labor's climate ambitious and future made in Australia plan. I agree that gas companies exploit us, but becoming business partners is far more prudent strategy than slapping taxes on them. Consider what happened every time we've tried to do just that. There are the types of punters like me that believe that my role in politics is to ask for what we are owed, to point without flinching at the scams that are being run and at the politicians who are running them, and the corporations who are running them, and to just blatantly flat out ask for not what I think I can get, but for what we bloody deserve, to force these cartels to pay us what they bloody owe us, to hold up the gold standard, bloody Norway, and say we need, with our resources, to copy them so that our stuff stops getting stolen by Japanese government cartels and US government-backed cartels that come and take our stuff. I'm gonna call that out. And then there's a different type of punter, and I respect them just as much, but they say, bro, be realistic. We can't. Like Punter Ronald points out, every time we've tried a little bit in the past, we got absolutely slammed. And to that response, I responded to this comment here, but for some reason, it's not showing up on the computer Instagram, and I only found it on my phone here, so I screenshot. It said, Punter Ronald, now is not 15 years ago. Libs are weak. Right now, the Liberals are so weak. Punters are getting wise to the scam. Now is the time to nut up and do both. Albo has some good stuff, but I will push him to ride the punters' coattails, our coattails, and get a huge win for punts. Libs are broken. Now is the time. Oi, punters, you know what I hate? when I'm trying to understand what's actually going on with a news story, and every bloody outlet is telling me something different. Like this news story about gas prices. One outlet is saying that we have a gas shortage, and another is saying that we have heaps of gas. Same story, different angle. So who the bloody hell is telling it to me straight? That's why I've been using the Ground News website and app. Punters, it's not about finding unbiased news. That's a myth. It's about seeing the whole bloody picture. Ground News shows you how different outlets are covering the same story, who owns these media companies, and their track record for accuracy. So with Ground News, I can see all the perspectives side by side, compare headlines, and actually understand what the bloody hell is going on. So punters, if you're sick of only seeing half the story, subscribe to Ground News by heading to groundnews.com/punters or by scanning the QR code on your screen right now for 40% off their unlimited access Vantage plan. That's the same plan that I use. The link is also in the description below. Anyway, back to it.
And yes, Labor has some good plans. It has some good policies that we wouldn't have potentially gotten under a Liberal Party government. I know that. I know that. But I'm just being blunt and honest. It's not enough. It's just not enough. And as I'm pointing out in this comment, now isn't 15 years ago. Now isn't when Julie Gillard / AKA or whatever Kevin Rudd tried to do a little bit to the mining industries. The mining industries ran a massive propaganda campaign against them, and they lost the election. And this is has become mythology now with I guess Labor rusties. They go, we tried once, we'll just lose power, and we want power so desperately so that we can do a tiny bit of good. We want power so badly, we're just going to give up on this whole thing. We're looking to the future, and we've got plans for the future, and that's really good. But we're gonna chalk up this $1 trillion L that the Aussies have copped from all their resources, and future generations are now don't get any access to that wealth. Well, whatever. We'll chalk that up as an L so that we can just have power a little bit. And I guess I'm pointing out just a few things. Libs are weak right now. They have been reduced to some level of minor party. Like the Liberal Nationals coalition, the Liberal part of that coalition is so effing weak. So that's changed. That's not 15 years ago. And I'm not kidding. Punters are getting wise to the scam. The amount of punters that recognize me, the amount of stickers on bins out there, go get your stickers, punterspolitics.com, and any t-shirt merch, help support the channel. Word is getting out there. So when a mining cartel goes to run propaganda again, I've racked up 10 million views on this exact issue so that more punters than ever are aware of the lies that'll be told, confusing royalties with taxes, etc., etc. So mood changes over time. And if Albo was to nut up and use this quite a large victory, historical victory, to do something big, I'm just arguing it should be this. I'm just arguing that, yeah, you can tinker around the edges and be afraid of losing power, but you have power right now. Right bloody now. Potentially for the next 6 years. Things change, we don't know. So do something big. You can continue to be afraid. Albo, you can continue to be afraid and a little bit. These mining corporations be like, oh, but if we try, they'll run their propaganda against me and we might lose power. Yeah, you might. But there has never been a better time than right bloody now. Here is what nobody is talking about with this election. Take a look at this. That trend of people drifting away from the major parties continues despite a overwhelming Labor win. So on last count, the coalition got 32% of the primary vote, but minor parties and independents received 33.1%. Now, the competition from independents and minor parties continues to grow. As they're all plotted, 1975, here are a lot of the seats. This is all the seats, maybe it is. And in 2004, we've got 3 independents that have won this is their primary vote just represented here. In 2022, that was the last election. And here we go to this election right now. And it has shifted, bit of a sidestep to the left and a whole lot moving into this area right here. So last election, there were 24 seats in the top section of the triangle. Now we have 32 seats in the top section of the triangle. So even more seats have shifted upwards. This is kind of what no one's talking about. This is bad if you're a major party, if this trend continues. Your competition is now not just the Liberal National Party. Your competition, if you're Labor Party, is now independents and minor parties. And that's why you saw, even before this election, Albo hammering the Greens. He hates the Greens. You see Labor rusties now come out and hate on independent candidates and Greens candidates. A few YouTubers who shall remain nameless
really are amping up their attacks against this category here because it is actually becoming real competition. Now, if you're a punter like me, I love competition. I want competition. More competition in any sphere makes things better. That's kind of what's great about a free market. So the downside of the Liberal Party doing so badly is that they are not good competition anymore. They haven't been for a long time. If Labor doesn't have good competition, Labor can be good and it can be bad. And I've just noticed if Labor doesn't have competition, their policies suck. They go closer to corporations. They don't have to serve we the punters. Whether you're a Labor Rusty or a Liberal Rusty or anyone, more competition is better. The only reason you don't like political competition is because you want your team to win. And that's just not the kind of politics I play. I'll vote for any of these teams. I don't care what color they are. If they have the policies I want, which I've been very transparent about, I want to start hammering these corporate tax bludgers wrecking our economy. I want to start hammering these corporate tax bludgers that are siphoning cash out of our country, driving wealth inequality. I want our politicians to make these gas cartels pay us what they owe us. So they're the policies I want. So yes, I will vote for any one of these people, parties, or individuals that is saying they're going to do that and has a voting record to back it up. So this was a close election. At time of recording, there are all these seats here that are still being counted and in doubt. Let's take a look at some of these seats that are moving. So we got Denison here, boom, up there in a few years. Whoa. And then shooting right up here, massive step. I believe Freo just lost. That was an independent contest, just went to Labor because these preferences, the Liberals do so badly that now it's kind of like these are kind of, this side of the triangle represents more status quo and establishment, and I'll take this establishment, then I'll go to this establishment before I try a new alternative. And so it's shifted up here. Most people voted for somebody else, but it's resulted in a Labor win, which is absolutely massive. I think the swing in Freo is huge. A 26% swing. You couldn't get 1 more percent. So Kate Hewlett, bloody, that was from like a quote unquote safe seat to wetting her pants. Just in like that, it's a close result. And you see these shifts here. Here we go again. More seats moving upward on the triangle. Caldwell. This swung hard to Labor, but it's also shifted up to here. Holy! Whoa. I don't know what's going on there, but maybe some punt can tell me in the comments below. What the bloody hell is happening here? Jeez, everyone's like, somebody else, and then we'll take Labor. What? Who is that somebody else? List of all candidates. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we had whoa, there's a lot of independents coming in this election and getting like solid amounts of these votes here. So so previously Liberals were facing lots of challenges from independents. Now it's a bunch of Labors. Here's a few more seats. We got Wannon. This is Alex Dyson. We had him on the podcast and check that out. Punters Politics, everywhere you get your podcasts. That was a close one, but went to Libs again. This massive movement in these seats here, that was 2007. Here is one example of the trend being countered. Goldstein with Tim Wilson. That one's bucking the independent growth trend. It's gone back. That's the trend that nobody is talking about. The trend of other party, minor party, independent party votes continues. And this is where we get into the propaganda phase of post-election coverage. You have everyone come out and offer their mythology. They want to tell the punters why someone lost, why they gained, what they did right, what they did wrong, because they're trying to form the mythology of what people just think happened. And that's what I was talking about before when people go, oh, Labor can't do anything against the mining cartels because they lost the last election because of it. Could have been that. Also could have been the fact that Gillard knifing each other. Maybe that did more damage than anything else. I don't know. Everyone puts forward their speculative propaganda mythology to try and shape future outcomes, to try and shape the political party now to make them do what they want it to. So you tune into right-wing pundit land and you've got conversations with Abbott who's like, we can't have a Labor-light government, we've got to be whatever. And you've got Sky News saying, the Liberal Party lost because they were too woke and too left. And okay, you could believe that. Go further right and see if you win. It didn't work last election. Maybe try again. Listen to Sky After Dark, our Liberal Party. Let's see where that gets you. And other punters saying it was their nuclear policy. Maybe they failed to connect with female voters. It was culture war tactics that backfired. There's lots of different theories as to why people lost. Maybe Rupert Murdoch's power is slipping and he couldn't save them this time. His propaganda machine is losing power. It could have been all of those things. and equally, completely none of those things. I don't really bloody care. I'm sad that corporation establishment is going to keep continuing. I have a little bit of hope. Change is slow, but here, punters, are the dots to prove that change is slow, but it is happening. And I think the massive Labor win is masking this a little bit, and the media establishment and the political establishment and the corporate establishment want to hide this from you. They don't want you to see how they've bet on both horses right now. We're losing faith in both those horses. Punters are working out that both these parties, on some level, are still working more for those large corporations than they are for we, the punters. That's just what I think. So yeah, punts, that's my post-election analysis, which honestly really doesn't matter. Anyway, cheers, punts. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share this with a punter who might not know just how scammed we're getting. Massive thanks to we, the punters, over on Patreon. These are the punters that keep me making the videos that I think are important, like this one, and not just videos that gets the clicks. I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers, punts.